Good morning, my walking friends, and how are we doing today? Today is Monday, and I hope this finds you doing good. We are officially in the month of August as of yesterday, so let's hope it's a nice, calm August, that we don't have any major heat waves like we have been for the last couple weeks or the last month, and let's hope the weather kind of settles down a little bit, shall we? So, when you walk as much as I do, your head tends to race and your mind goes in places that you can't even imagine. You start thinking about different things and you start to wonder about certain things. And one thing that constantly pops in my head is the thought of the death penalty. Now, I know this is a very controversial topic, but let me just say I am totally for the death penalty. And if you're not, that's fine too. No judgment here. No ill feelings coming from me. Everybody has the right to their own opinion. But I wanted to go over some of the facts that I learned about the death penalty when I was doing some research this weekend. Now, imagine, if you will, you and your family are settled in for the night. You're getting ready to go to bed, and all of a sudden, somebody breaks into your home and attacks you and your family viciously. You're either very maimed, or even worse, some of your family members don't make it out alive, which is a horrible, horrible thought. But these are things that goes through my head. What would I do? What would I want if that were to happen to me and my family? And honestly, I would ask for the death penalty. I would push for it if I ever had to go to court. If anything ever happened to my family, I would push for the death penalty. Because the Bible says an eye for an eye. And if you have the balls enough to break into my home and do something to my family, then you have made the decision to deal with the consequences in the end. So let's go over some of the facts that I learned about the death penalty, shall we? I do have my trusty notes. I always come very well prepared. I can't always get them out as fast as I'd like to, but I do come prepared. Currently, only 27 states have the death penalty. 27 out of 50. Kind of makes you wonder about the other 23, doesn't it? Well, out of the other 23, 22 have abolished the death penalty. Meaning they either had the death penalty at one time and they have decided to stop, or they just abolished the idea altogether. One of the states that has the death penalty is Washington, D.C. So Washington, D.C., acting as its own state, has decided to have the death penalty. The state I live in, Oregon, currently does have the death penalty, thank God. Because God forbid, if anything ever happened to my family, you can guarantee that I'm going to push my thoughts and feelings into that court, and I'm going to make sure that they try that bastard to go to the death penalty. Washington abolished the death penalty on October 11th, 2018. Now, as far as I could find, this was the most recent abolishment. Not only that, but I used to live in Washington, and I remember when Jay Inslee made it to where the death penalty was abolished. Good old Jay Inslee, right? It takes a long time, forever, to officially be executed. In fact, it takes an average of 264 months between sentencing and execution. In other words, that's 22 years. Sometimes it's sooner if an inmate waives his rights to his appeals. That's only if the inmate goes in and says, you know what, I did it. I don't need an appeal. I'm not appealing this. Let's just get it done and over with. They can actually do that. Or if they exhaust their appeals faster. Some states are on that a lot faster than others. But nearly a quarter of inmates die from natural causes while on death row. So it's not like all of the people that are sentenced to die by death penalty ways of dying. It's not like they actually die from those. A lot of them actually die from natural causes. Death row inmates are often treated better than they are if they were just in general population. Death row inmates actually have more amenities. They can get their hands on more stuff than what you could in general population. They get their own TVs, their own radios, their own ways to watch movies, so on and so forth. So they actually get a lot better amenities than what you would if you were in general population. The last execution in Oregon was August 20th of 1962. His name was Leroy McGehee. I hope I pronounced that right. A 40-year-old male logger, and he was executed for the murder of a 32-year-old woman and her 2-year-old son. See what I'm talking about? Now, can you imagine being the family of this poor woman and her son? The last person to be executed in Washington before it was abolished in 2018 was Cal Coburn Brown. Even the U.S. military has the death penalty. At like Leavenworth, the prison, they have their own death penalty. Death row is more expensive due to the appeals process. That's probably one of the downsides of being on death row, is it is more expensive due to the appeals process, and that does come out of American taxpayers' money. But they do have the rights to their appeals, unfortunately. And fortunately, I'll get to that later. Since 1973 until 2013, 8,466 death sentences were handed out, but only 1,359 were executed, so only 16% of inmates were executed. And since 2013, roughly about 30% of inmates have been executed. The most recent and last execution was June 30th of 2021, named John William Hummel in Texas by lethal injection for killing his pregnant wife, his father-in-law, and his 5-year-old daughter. He stabbed his pregnant wife 30 times, and he beat his 5-year-old daughter and his father-in-law to death with a baseball bat. Definitely death penalty worthy as far as I'm concerned. Any killing of a child is death penalty worthy. Any killing of a pregnant spouse is death penalty worthy, because not only are you killing your spouse, you're killing that unborn baby. And any killing of anybody, as far as I'm concerned, is death penalty worthy. Methods of execution performed today is lethal injection. That's when they inject you with 3 major components. One that paralyzes your body, one that slows down your breathing, and one that stops your heart. Electric chair. We all know what the electric chair is. That's where you get strapped into a chair and so many volts of electricity are shot through your entire body until your heart stops. lethal gas, which I just found out today. They actually strap you into a chair in the gas chamber because you can actually convulse so hard you can bend over backwards and break your spine. Which, as far as I'm concerned, that's being a little bit nice when it comes to that. If you're going to be put into a gas chamber and be killed that way, why take the time to strap you in? You did the crime, you do the punishment. Hanging, that's still a thing. And firing squad is still a thing. Firing squads only happen in about 4 states, though. Now, there's also a program called the Innocence Project. That's when I said I was going to come back to with the appeals process. The Innocence Project is a great and wonderful project, and I fully support it. When, you know how every year on your birthday on Facebook you can raise money for a certain cause? My cause this year was the Innocence Project, and what it is it's a project to help those that are innocent and in prison, either on life sentences or on death row, get out of prison and live a substantially normal life. Now, a lot of these cases with the Innocence Project, I've noticed a lot of them come out of the South, where there's either corrupt law enforcement officials that lose, I use that term loosely, lose the evidence that may be able to be tested for DNA today, or their storage warehouses have been destroyed either by collapsing in from a tornado, or they were flooded from, say, Hurricane Katrina. There were a lot of storage warehouses in Mississippi and in Louisiana due to Hurricane Katrina, where all the evidence was tainted. And there have been other warehouses in southern states that have been affected by tornadoes, where their storage warehouses were lost due to tornadoes. And this can cause major problems during the appeals process. Yes, I fully agree that every prisoner should have an appeal, as long as they state, no, I did not do this. I want to prove my innocence. I did not do any of this. This process for the appeals process is a great and wonderful thing, especially if you're truly innocent. It gives you a chance to have all of your evidence looked over by a paid specialist. It gives you a chance to have a new attorney if you felt your attorney the first time didn't do a good job. It gives you a chance to be heard by a judge again and to be heard by a jury again. And this is a great program. The Innocence Project is a great program. It gives those that may be on death row or serving life in prison the chance and the hope that they're actually going to be heard. And if there is still evidence, it can finally be tested with new technology like DNA testing and geotyping. And there's another thing where they take the offender's DNA snapshot, I believe is what it's called, where they send it off and it actually creates a snapshot of what the actual offender looks like, and it tells the race and their eye color and body chemistry, makeup and whatnot. So there are new advances coming out every day in the technology world to help solve these crimes, and that's what the appeals process is for these individuals that may actually be innocent to actually get out there and have their case heard again with the new technology coming up, and hopefully they'll be able to prove that they didn't do it. I know the Innocence Project has helped quite a few people get off of life sentences, and got them back out in the community. I know that in Louisiana, there's quite a number of them actually that have had a chance to do this, because they did have the evidence and they were able to test it and find out by either a rape kit or blood evidence or what have you, and it was proven that they were not the perpetrators of the crime. And they have actual self-help groups for men and halfway houses for men coming out of prison to reacclimate them into society today, because a lot of these men have been in prison for 10, 15, 20, 30 years even before their cases are actually seen that it wasn't them that committed the crime. So the Innocence Project is a great and wonderful thing. Now, one case that comes to mind on the top of my head where they were sentenced to the death penalty and the judge and Supreme Court came back and said no, it was unjust, sending him down to life in prison, is the Scott Peterson case with his wife Laci Peterson that has been murdered along with her unborn baby. Now, people say that he didn't do it. People say that he did. The evidence is there that says that he did, and some of the evidence is kind of sketchy, and it sounds like, well, maybe he could have, maybe he couldn't have. The evidence is just really kind of sketchy. So he's got 3 appeals coming up. He's been mandated from death row down to life in prison, natural life in prison, I believe, without the possibility of parole, meaning he will live out his natural life in prison and he cannot get released out on parole or out on good behavior. So I guess we'll see. His sister-in-law that's married to his brother is the driving force behind trying to find out who really killed Laci Peterson. There is some circumstances where there were people burglarizing a house across the street from their house, and they said that they could have possibly have taken her and killed her. And then there's also the possibility that it was Scott Peterson that did it. He was having an affair and he had told somebody he didn't want to be tied down with a child and a wife anymore. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm pretty certain that we'll see him trying to get into the Innocence Project at some point in time, trying to get his case heard and prove that he didn't do this. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he was already writing them letters. So we shall see, I guess. But yeah, so these are some thoughts that run through my head when I'm out walking. I know it's really macabre and really kind of, you're probably sitting there thinking, oh my God, what goes through your mind when you're doing these kinds of things? Well, now you know. Maybe this is a conversation that you can actually walk to and you would relate to, and maybe you're a true crime enthusiast like myself, so maybe you'll completely understand and you can be like, okay, well, I totally get where she's coming from. If you agree with the death penalty, leave it in the comment below. If you don't agree with the death penalty, leave it in the comment below. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the comment below. If there's a subject you want to hear about, let me know and I'll do some research on it. And I will definitely do a video based on it. Leave that in the comment below. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you didn't like this video because you don't agree with what I have to say, hit the dislike button. That's fine too. I'm perfectly okay with that. And then if you like what you see, if you've watched any of my other videos, hit the subscribe button. Now, just we'll take a minute off from talking about the death penalty and my macabreness for a while, and we'll talk about how you're doing today. How are you doing? Are you doing good? Are you walking? How are you doing as far as step counts goes? Have you managed to download a pedometer app, or do you have a Fitbit or an Apple iWatch that you can keep track of your steps on? If so, that's great. If not, what's the holdup? I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a Fitbit or buy an Apple iWatch. The pedometer app is completely free on your iPhone or on your Android. It's good for either or. And they're very, very accurate. There's several different ones. I have one called Activity Tracker, and I have one that's just pedometer. So, what's the holdup? Why aren't you doing it, huh? Anywho, you are doing a great job. If you're even thinking about walking, and if that's a step closer than what you were last week, that's great. Good job. If you're just making it to the mailbox, hey, that's walking. What can I say? Some people don't even do that. Some people drive to their mailbox and get their mail. How's the rest of your week going? Actually, I can't say that because this is Monday. So how did your week last week go? Did you have a good week last week? What are your plans for this week? Are you working all week, or do you have plans to do something fun? Finish out your summer vacation? So, okay, well, I will see you in 2 days. Remember, I'm going to be doing videos every other day. So in 2 days' time, I will post another video. I hope to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would like me to talk about. If you've got a burning question that you need answers to, put it down in the comment section, and I will do my research and try to find the burning questions answers. So I will see you in 2 days' time, and you have a very great week. And get out there and go walking. You can do this. You've got this, guys. You have totally got this. If I can do it, you can too. And trust me, there have been days, the last couple days, where I haven't wanted to move. But I get up, strap my bootstraps on. Not really, they're tennis shoes. Pull up my britches, and I get out there and I do what I need to do to keep myself healthy and better. Oh, quick note. Anybody think about buying that Beyond Burger meat? Because I just did. I bought 2 pounds of it. We're gonna try it out and see how it tastes. See if it really tastes as good as the Impossible Burgers from Burger King. Those are really good, by the way. And they're completely plant-based, vegetarian. So we got Beyond Burger meat. We're gonna try them out. Bill Gates says that if just a good majority of people will start eating Beyond Burger meat, it would help save the ozone layer. And the ozone's really for our children, isn't it? And our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. So let's see what we can do to help save the ozone. So it is kind of expensive. $8 a pound. Can you believe that? $8 a pound. I about crapped. But I still bought it. Still decided that my family's health means more to me than $8 a pound. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe I can find it cheaper at grocery outlet. I know that they sell it there. So let's see. Let's just see. I'm gonna make spaghetti with it in the next, probably Wednesday, as long as it's not too hot. And we'll see how good it tastes. So anyways, let's all try the Beyond Burger meat together, shall we? We can make it a goal for all of us. Our goal, along with our 10,000 steps or 5,000 steps, however many steps you've decided to try to get in a day. But let me know in the comments below. Again, also, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it because you don't like thinking about the death penalty, hit the dislike button. It's okay, you aren't going to hurt my feelings. And if you have a comment or question, leave that below. And yeah, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Until then, I will talk to you later. Bye, my friends.